Welcome to the channel, Jaden Chase, and these are some of the top stories making headlines today. Now nation, if you love the consistency, drop a like on the video, use up the comment section, and of course, share the video as well. Now, Vybz Kartel's attorney has blasted the state and the Deputy Commissioner of Corrections for statements made about his client Vybz Kartel and the fact that he's not a part of any music program. Now, the fact is Vybz Kartel is an appellant, and with him being considered innocent until proven guilty, cannot be a part of these programs. Now, Isaac Buchanan stated that, why are they not making any comments about the inhumane conditions that prisoners are being housed in, before he proceeded to mock the effectiveness of the rehabilitation program? Jah Cure was mentioned as an individual who was a part of the program. Now, we have seen what that's taken place with Jah Cure in the Netherlands. Isaac Buchanan said this: none of the programs make sense. Waste of taxpayers' money. And this is a big issue. You have seen what is taking place with the judicial system and major trials taking place that seem to be a waste of taxpayer dollars. He said the government should spend money on rehabilitation programs and stop calling the nonsense that is offered rehabilitation. It is a dog kennel, or a kennel rather, which is a type of dog house. And he says the savages they harvest is a part of the problem with the crime in Jamaica, stating that the problem is individuals are treated less than human when placed behind the bars, even when they are part of these so-called rehabilitation programs. And he's saying that to date, none of these programs have worked. And in fact, certain individuals who have been released have not benefited from these programs. Buchanan pointed out that Jah Cure, who was the poster child for the prison's Rehabilitation Through music program when he was incarcerated in Jamaica between 1999 and 07, has now been sentenced to 6 years in prison in the Netherlands for attempted manslaughter. He was quoted as saying, the music prison program they speak of certainly didn't keep Jah Cure out of prison. What rehabilitation? Until rehabilitation is taken seriously, press conferences should focus on educating the public to assist the effective reintegration of the savages being manufactured in prisons by inhumane incarceration. Talk to me, nation. That is definitely an issue. The reintegration of individuals who leave the prison system. It is one thing to say that the prison system has rehabilitation programs, and I guess what Buchanan is saying is that the Deputy Commissioner went out of her way to point out that a superstar, who we all know, was not a part of any rehabilitation program, without pointing out the fact that because his case is being appealed, he cannot be considered for those types of programs. The fact that he have to wait upon the prison, upon the Privy Council ruling rather, and then he won't have to be a part of the program as based on evidence he would be a free man. Now, Jah Cure, who Buchanan said was, of course, the poster child for the program itself, which is indeed true, as he was the name mentioned by the Deputy Commissioner, is now serving 6 years. So where's the rehabilitation? Truthfully, he's saying that the conditions in which prisoners are housed in foster a type of savage mentality, that it is hard for an individual to find any form of rehabilitation within these types of confines. But keep in mind, this is a place that was created to house the worst of the worst. So Buchanan is not saying that rehabilitation is wishful thinking. He's saying that these conferences should be held with the aim of educating the population that, watch, you know, this is what the situation is. There are individuals who will be placed behind the bars and will be released. This is how it is. We'll be creating programs within the prison system to get these individuals educated and skilled. So that's when them found out, there'll be people who will be skilled and able to do certain jobs. Recently, we see them point out something. You know, say a portion of inmates get a whole heap of CXC passes recently. Yeah, a whole heap of CXC passes. Program in there. And inmate them are engaged in the program. But Buchanan is saying that the fact that Vybz Kartel was singled out for music, that what they must say, It might be new, might be. Them can't prove that. But talk to me. Tell me how you feel. As I'm say, Buchanan pointed out that integration is something to be considered. I feel like a true. No one of the other stories making headlines today. No nation, people can really wicked so. A Kingston woman was arrested and charged with extortion and creating public mischief on Tuesday after she allegedly conspired with her accomplice to give the impression that she had been abducted. The woman, 27-year-old Shamika Miller, is a customer service representative of Phase 1, somebody who is already employed. Now, the allegations are that about 4:45 p.m. on Monday, July 4th, Miller falsely conspired with her accomplice by stating that she was being taken while demanding money from her family members for her release. It is further alleged that she sent her family members video footage with a weapon pointed to her head. When her demands were not met, she reported that she was released on Spanish Town Road and Kingston 11. That's when the family decided to either them not have the funds, did not believe her, and would not pay the funds. For whatever reason, she decides, all right, this now work and she will go home. And plan to tell people that the individual decides, what you know, them will just release her along Spanish Town Road. Now an investigation was launched, and it was theorized that the allegations were false. She was arrested and interviewed in the presence of her attorney, after which she was charged. The police said her court date has not yet been finalized. Now talk to me, nation. At this it reach. Someone followed up, and at this it reach. Now, I'm glad the police decides they're going to do an investigation. If we got the hard-working members of law enforcement, yes, when them do a good job, if we big up the hard-working members of law enforcement, our family would have never known this. Remember, she go home back. For who did believe her, and if them just never have the money or couldn't get the money in time, then probably call some people overseas and the money never reach in time. The fact say, them see her, them probably just glad for no say, all right, she was released and she did home. Only if you have the police investigate the matter. Call her in for questioning. And then only if she confess, say yes, this was all a conspiracy. And she had an accomplice. Now, we don't know if them are search for the accomplice as well. The fact that she was the one who contacted her family. She was the one who sent the videos to her family. Of course, the individual in the video, as stated, had a weapon. The police are going to want to find that individual with the weapon, illegal possession of weapon. But other than that, the situation in the nation will show you the lens where people go to acquire a few dollars. Either she expect some family members to get some big money, or maybe our family rich. Whichever way, the money was not paid. It never worked out in our favor. So, yo, this song proves the people wicked for real. More some situations take place on the road, I say, yo, what go on? Especially some domestic situations. I say, yo, boy, what could that really lead to that? Why they can't justify the taking of a life? People will definitely do some wicked things to get the last dollar out of your pocket. This woman go out her way for fake her own abduction. Call her people and decides to she go tell her people, say, watch them take her. And tell them, say, oh, she gonna need a certain amount of money, or the people who take her rather are gonna need a certain amount of money, or else. And she never does call them and tell them or send them a voice note. Along with that, scary videos. Spooky videos with weapons. Of course, our family member are going to take this very serious. So we take them contact. Them contact law enforcement, of course. Who else they know contact? They don't have the money to pay. Law enforcement was contacted. Eventually, she followed home. Probably go tell law enforcement, say, them release her along Spanish Town Road. No do nothing to her, no touch her, no nothing. Of course, the police not going to believe that story. And besides, them, I'll do some question and answers. I'm going to realize that maybe she just over accomplice yard. Just that easy. And she was not released. She just decided to go home because the money was not being paid. Yo, as Mr. Talk to me in the comment section, nation, now a quick recap Vybz Kartel's attorney has stated that while comments are being made about rehabilitation programs, these programs have not worked for any individual, even the poster child of these rehabilitation programs, which is Jah Cure, who is now serving a 6-year sentence in the Netherlands for crimes. Now, a woman has been charged for faking her own abduction. Nation, talk to me in the comment section. And to the reason again, my sentiments for you and yours, of course, I want to live, love, and prosper. I want to stay tuned.